welcome to Ussa's Lounge. I hope you're well, and I hope it has been refreshing and informative, hopefully enlightening in this new series of Breathe In, Breathe Out. We've covered 3 topics in the Breathe In, Breathe Out series. Firstly, we spoke about Let There Be Light, where I was pleading, begging, crying for light in the midst of my dark world. And following on that, we spoke about And There Was Blinding Light. That was when I had my personal revelation, the out of ordinary experience with the sun, and how my life was changed. I found my compass and my North Star, which was directing me to where I was supposed to be, the ideal purpose for my life. Last week, we spoke about roast with fire, and that was the purification process. And before we go ahead with today's topic, I would like to invite you to like, to subscribe, and share this content, this episode, with your friends and loved ones. Today, we are speaking about rebirth, and we're following on from roast with fire, and we spoke about my whole being, not just my brain was roasted with fire, and we spoke about the purpose of fire as a form of light, a very essential form of light, and without fire or discovery of fire, we wouldn't have civilization today. We would possibly be extinct, the human race, due to lack of preservation, lack of purification of our food, and also the ability to see where we're going, light up our way. So fire is a purification process, and my whole being, my inner being, was fully roasted with fire. I was purified, and every root of my delusion was devoured in that process. And I discovered my newfound senses, as we spoke about last time, and we did say that those will become more vital than my 5 physical senses. So my newfound senses were revealing the fundamental element of my being. My inner self was reborn, and rebirth is the awakening. I was for the very first time introduced to my true self, which had been buried deep within my unconscious mind. And this was the beginning of a new life. I had just been reborn into the only source of vitality and flow. And this was the gateway to the fullness of the oneness that is being. Most of us, our being is divided. We are not whole. And once you are reborn, once the awakening takes place, when rebirth occurs, you become whole again. The divisions between your shadow self and your ego merge, and the inner self, the true self, is discovered. Your ego, your outer self, and the darker elements of yourself, which you hide, which is in conflict with the outer self, the image you like to display to the world. It is merged, it comes together, and you become whole, and you discover who the wholesome person is, the wholesome being. The unconscious mind that had suppressed your true nature is revealed, and your new life, due to the purification process that has taken place, the chrysalis, you grow into a new being, you discover a new element of yourself. And that self, the inner self, the true nature within, is the only source of vitality and flow. And you will discover the fullness of the oneness that is being. What we are meant to be, our higher self, is revealed unto us. Rebirth involves connecting with the true compass within us. You will see from the image, my featured image, you will see the compass right in the chest, the heart, the key functioning of the human self. The compass, your true compass, is discovered, and it's going to direct you to your North Star, where you're supposed to be, where you find meaning, where you find fulfillment. Your North Star, without discovering your wholesome self, without connecting with the fullness of the oneness, the complete being that you are, your compass will be lost. Your compass it would be fake, it wouldn't be true, it would be a fake self, it would be a non-authentic self. But when the new life begins, when rebirth takes place, all of that washes away, and the only source, your harmony with nature, the vitality and flow, is discovered, and you are connected to your true compass within. With my newfound senses, mental perception, and spiritual understanding, I will consciously be able to detect and detach from the pre-programmed system, which makes up most of our emotional and rational mind. Remember, our world is pre-programmed. Our ancestors, those that have come before us, have put together a blueprint, and we are just unconsciously following that path, someone else's path. But with your rebirth, or my rebirth, with my rebirth, I will be able to detach and detect my newfound senses, my divine senses will reveal to me every element of my rational and emotional mind that has been contaminated. This pre-programmed system is a system's code that is so refined and intertwined in our existence, almost like our DNA. Since the birth of humankind, which was aided by the vicious process of natural selection, we have, through learning and discovery, evolved over time from monomyths to religion, alchemy to science, and this has left a blueprint of social norms and cultures which are embedded in our biochemical pathways and construct our reality. The illusion that we live in has been refined over time. As time has evolved, firstly we began with monomyths, and similarities, we took over those myths into religion, which we practice so diligently. Alchemy became science, and all of these, the monomyths, religion, alchemy, science, have left a blueprint of our social norms and cultures. The blueprint has already been defined before we were born, and this is embedded in our biochemical pathways. This constructs our reality that we exist in. So this epiphany that had been revealed allowed me to see through the cracks, see through the delusion, my full-blown delusion of my outer self. But thankfully, The redeeming purification reignited a new source of life. You will see my other image. I was absorbing the revitalizing energy from the sun. Nature, oneness with nature, harmony with nature cannot be achieved without rebirth, without the redeeming purification, because it ignites the source of energy, the new source of life. Without the source of energy, the natural source of energy, we will still be engulfed by our illusion, by the reality that has been constructed for us, the pre-programmed system. So this epiphany, aided by my redeeming purification, my out-of-ordinary experience, the revitalizing energy source, a connection so deep within. I was connected with a power, a source of energy so deep within. This experience connected my being, connected me to my wholesomeness, the fullness of the oneness that is being. And this deep connection within will reveal to me ideas. It's an uncharted territory because no one has constructed this. It is my path. It is an unconventional path. And this uncharted territory will reveal to me ideas and paths. I'm still to trod my path, leading me to my North Star. An unconventional path. Do you want to be stuck in the conventional paths, the constructed realities dictated by social norms and cultures? Or do you want to follow the true compass that only leads you to your North Star? I would like to think that we all want to be connected with that source, the natural source of energy. We want to restore our wholesome self. We want to evolve into our true self. We want to be reborn so that we can follow an uncharted territory which leads us to our greatest heights. Let's speak about my divine senses, the sixth and seventh sense, which has become more vital to me than my 5 physical senses. These are the senses that we can't touch, we can't feel, we can't smell, we can't see. But mental perception, the sixth sense, attempts to describe my heightened intuition as I begin to feel greater clarity, purpose, and meaning in my life. My mental perception is my heightened intuition. Most of us are not connected to our intuition. We don't see clearly our purpose because we don't know the meaning of life. My senses has begun to be more attuned to the inner guidance, connecting with my true nature and its higher power. That is what mental perception, when we discover our sixth sense, we connect with our inner intuition, our heightened intuition. Because most of us, our intuition is deadened. We just go with the physical 5 senses. We do not see clearly. Our eyes see a very little portion of what is around us, or doesn't even see what is within us, obviously. They say our eyes are the gateway, but it is just the gateway to seeing physical things around us. But mental perception is a heightened intuition. And with that, I would see clearly, greater clarity, purpose, and meaning will be revealed in my life. Spiritual understanding will strengthen my self-awareness. It is an awakening into the interconnectedness of all things and a recognition of the presence of a higher power within me. Without spiritual understanding, we wouldn't recognize the presence of a higher power within us. We will not be connected with nature, with all things, physical and spiritual, physical and non-physical. This higher power is present at all times within us. This divine intelligence, however, needs to be awakened. And this awakening is caused by some traumatic shockwave. Like I had my encounter with the sun, the hypnotic state I went through, seeing the colors of the rainbow, which the energy was absorbed in me, and it shocked my system. So we need that traumatic shock wave to wake up the sleeping giant within us. And this awakening breathes personal growth and transformation into our lives. Do you want to grow? Personal growth is more important than the growth of our ego, than the outer self growth. Personal growth stems from within and transforms. It's a transformative process of ourselves, of our inner selves. We come to discover the wholesomeness of our being. Together, both divine senses, spiritual understanding, and mental perception, they will lead to inner peace and contentment. And even in the midst of challenging circumstances, I will feel a greater sense of calm, acceptance, and resilience. That's what our divine senses, if you awaken them, they are more important, more vital to us than the physical senses. We will always feel calm, even when the whole world is turbulent. We will accept ourselves, we will love ourselves, and it will give us this resilience. And this leads to inner peace. Most of us are troubled. We have anxiety, fear, worry. But this divine senses, this connectedness with all things, this heightened intuition, when your body is whole, when your being is whole, it can only lead to inner peace and contentment. The season of darkness I encountered was orchestrated by none other than my soul. My soul desperately desired to grow and evolve. Its hunger deepened. Its hunger slowly creeped on me. And this led to the inevitable, which was the dark night of my soul. The dark night of my soul is when, by all means necessary, I must evolve, I must grow. My soul desperately is desiring to grow, personal growth, is desiring to connect with the heightened intuition and the connectedness with nature. And this transformative process requires a huge leap of faith. Because the dark night of the soul is a very dark, you have to get to the bottom of the bottom to awaken. The shock wave, the trauma awakens the longing for transformation. Connecting with your inner self is a deep, long, and mysterious path. It is an uncharted territory. So, connecting with your inner self is not something that you can just do in one day, or it takes time. You can't even tell how long it's going to take, because you're growing every day, you're rediscovering. Just imagine, I have been in this world for 20 plus years, and I had never discovered my inner self. So you can't expect to overnight be transformed. It's a process. It requires you to embrace your shadow, heal your wounds, and this brings more light into your life. It's a huge leap of faith, the transformative process. You dive into the unknown, and it comes at a sudden and frightening pace. There is no map. I'm sorry to tell you, there is no map. The true compass within that leads you. There's no map. There's only the flickering luminescence of the soul to light the way. You just have to trust the process. There's no map. And you can't go with what people are doing. Even another person going through a spiritual transformative process, everyone's is different, so you can't rely on their process. It is an individual. It is discovering your unique self, your wholesome self, your purpose, which is very different from your neighbors, from your friends, from your families. So you just have to trust that flickering luminescence of light to guide the way. I will close out with a Bible verse, because I said I connect with the scriptures. That is my source of strength, of light. Behold, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. 3 John chapter 1, verse 2. Our soul must prosper. I wish health for you. I wish that your soul prospereth, not your ego. Breaking away from old patterns of thoughts and behavior, my rebirth opened the gates to true freedom. And this true freedom, remember going back to the start of the blog, freedom, what is your price? I thought I had to buy freedom. I had to purchase it. I had to get the keys. My car, my house, my earthly possessions. I had to chase power, chase possessions, chase wealth, chase recognition. But breaking now with this transformative process, with this out of ordinary experience, with my delusion being roasted with fire, I found myself breaking away from my old patterns of thought and behavior. My divine senses revealed to me something, a connection deep, so deep within. I couldn't resist my soul's awakening, the prosperity of my soul, which took over, which stems from a very dark place where you'll end up when you refuse to answer the call. So my rebirth opened up the gate to true freedom. True freedom. True freedom. True freedom arises from within, not without. So I wish for you today that your soul prospers. I wish for you today that you get connected with your divine senses, and it opens the gateway to true freedom, and that you break away from the old patterns of thought and behavior, that you discover the fullness of the oneness that is being, that you find inner peace and contentment. You grow to love yourself, to desire, to discover your true self, the one that is in harmony with all things, that is connected with all things, the harmony with nature. But you have to look within. You have to let go of the noise. Let go of what other people are doing. Follow your own transformative process. It is unique. You are a unique being. Discover your higher self. And don't let it go, because it's priceless. I hope you like this content. I hope it is flickering some lights. The luminescence is captivating you. And if it is, share, like, subscribe. I leave you with a huge light bulb. I will leave you with love, lots of love, agape love, divine love, the love that is greater than the love of man, of your friends, of your child. Love for yourself, the love of God, which is unquantifiable. I leave you with peace, inner peace, contentment, tranquility. I hope you also reborn. I hope you also experience this awakening. So till next time, may your soul prosper and be in health. Bye-bye.